Hello and welcome back to Kingdom Reviews. I'm your host, the Future Keybearer. Today, we journey to the world for those who have lost theirs. This is Traverse Town.
So this level starts off by catching us up with Donald and Goofy.
Oh, look! A star's going out!
Yeah, in this game's universe, every star in the sky is another world. So, if one goes out, that means it's fallen to darkness.
So Donald and Goofy are continuing on their quest to find this mysterious key.
Oh, Donald, you know, I bet you that,
What do you know, you big Toyota?
What do I know? Come on, Pluto!
But it turns out they should have been following Pluto because he has found Sora.
What a dream.
Yeah, if I saw Pluto in front of me, I'd probably assume I was dreaming too.
So after Pluto assures to Sora that this shit is real, he tries to take him, I assume, to Donald and Goofy.
Okay, here's something that I just don't get. Pluto obviously motioned to have Sora follow him. So then why did Sora act like Pluto just randomly ran off?
So Sora makes his way out of the alleyway and comes to the realization that he is now in another world.
Why? I mean, it's not like there's any evidence here to prove that it is another world. Granted, there's no evidence to prove against that theory, but still.
So Sora walks into an accessory shop where he meets Sid from Final Fantasy...
Final Fantasy... Hold on, which Sid is this? Final Fantasy 7. I know this is a bit off topic, but why the hell does every freaking Final Fantasy game have to have a character named Sid?
So Sid confirms Sora's assumption about being in another world, and in turn, Sora asks Sid about Riku and Kairi. Sid has no idea who Sora is talking about, of course, but he recommends that he goes around town searching for him. Upon entering the second district, Sora sees...
What the fuck was that?
I mean, I know this gets explained relatively soon, but still, it's kind of confusing for new players. Anyway, after that bit of insanity, you can go around fighting enemies, collecting experience, and collecting potions. While exploring, you might find your way to the Dalmatian house, where you'll see a distraught Pongo and Perdita from 101 Dalmatians.
This leads to what is probably the most annoying side quest in the entire freaking game. Are you ready for this? While you're traversing the worlds, you have to find all 99 of their fucking puppies!
Oh my god, what numbnut came up with this?
Now, granted, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, every time you find a puppy, you find 3 at a time, so it's not really that bad. But there's also another side quest, which we'll talk about in a later episode, that you can't complete unless you get at least halfway through this one.
So anyway, once you're done exploring around, you go back into the accessory shop so you can save your game and do whatever else you want. But when you come out, you meet Leon from Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay, now before I get a lot of Final Fantasy VIII fans giving me crap for this, I am fully aware that his real name is not Leon. It's Squall Leonhardt. Supposing I pronounced that correctly. Leon is just what he's called in this game. Hell, technically his name is still Squall, it's just a nickname that he prefers now.
So Leon challenges you to a fight, and this is one of the few fights in the entire game where it doesn't matter if you win or lose. The story will still progress either way. If you lose, Leon knocks Sora out. But if you win, Sora just sort of passes out from exhaustion.
Personally, whenever I play this level, I find myself debating whether or not I want to win or intentionally lose this battle. I mean, I want to win because it nets you a pretty good amount of experience, but I want to lose because losing makes a bit more sense story-wise.
Meanwhile, Donald and Goofy are still searching for the key.
Actually, I'm not scared.
Wah, wah, wah. And who is this mysterious shoulder tapper? Why, none other than Aerith from Final Fantasy VII.
Now, those of you who have beaten Final Fantasy VII are probably wondering, or more likely shouting, Why the hell is Aerith here? How is she still alive? Well, now would probably be a good time to talk about the continuity between Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. And that is, there is no continuity! These things seem to take place in two completely different timelines.
Now, granted, you can make a very slim argument that this game takes place either before or during the stories of the main Final Fantasy games.
Personally, I wouldn't know how effective those arguments are, considering the fact that I haven't played most of these Final Fantasy games, and those that I haven't really gotten that far in. All I really know is that Square hasn't really made it clear what the continuity is for these.
So when Sora wakes up, he finds Kairi right next to him, giving him the rundown on those creatures that he's been fighting. But then...
Kairi? Who are you talking about? I'm the great ninja Yuffie.
Yeah, so it turns out that Sora was just hallucinating Kairi, and that it was actually Yuffie from Final Fantasy VII. So Leon and Yuffie give Sora some exposition on the Keyblade and the creatures that he's been fighting called the Heartless. They explain that the Heartless are the physical manifestation of the darkness in people's hearts. Meanwhile, in the next room, Aerith is giving Donald and Goofy the same rundown, and also tells them about a man who was studying the Heartless, known as Ansem.
He recorded all of his findings in a very detailed report.
Gosh, can we see it?
Its pages are scattered everywhere.
Scattered?
Too many worlds.
And before anybody asks, yes, that is a sort of side quest in the game.
Here's the really weird thing about it, though. You will never go out of your way to try to find the pages of Ansem's report. So what the hell is the point of having them scattered?
We've got to find him quick.
Red! First we need that key.
Okay, I love a good fourth wall joke as much as the next guy, but as far as I can remember, that's the only one in the entire series. It's kind of out of place.
Anyway, the Heartless start attacking, so everybody starts to scatter.
Sora, let's go.
Will Donald ever be able to escape serious cartoony pain?
So after running through the streets and fighting more enemies along the way, Sora finally makes it to the 3rd district. Meanwhile...
Gosh, are these the Heartless guys?
Let's go get them! Goofy!
Wait, since when do Soldier Heartless know self-destruct?
So after Donald and Goofy drop in on Sora, the three end up working together to fight a new giant Heartless called the Guard Armor. The gimmick on this thing is that it's made up of 5 parts: 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head.
So essentially, he's kind of like the Exodia of the Heartless.
What most people will probably do is take out the arms and legs first before heading for the torso. But really, it doesn't matter which order you do it in as long as you take out the torso. So after beating the Guard Armor, Donald and Goofy ask Sora to come with them to help them find King Mickey. In return, they'll help him find Riku and Kairi.
You can't come along looking like that. Understand?
Oh?
No frowning, no sad face, okay?
Yeah, you gotta look funny, like us. Yup. Whoa.
Whisper runs on happy faces.
Happy?
That's one funny face.
Is that what you call that look? I call it pants-shittingly terrifying.
So after the three have officially decided to team up, it turns out that a series of villains seem to be watching them.
The Keyblade has chosen him. Will it be he who conquers the darkness? Or will the darkness swallow him? Either way, he could be quite useful.
Yeah, this wouldn't be an Ultimate Disney crossover if Maleficent wasn't running things.
So the gang from Final Fantasy decides to wish Sora, Donald, and Goofy luck on their journey, while the trio decides to get ready to head out.
So overall, Traverse Town was a pretty good level.
It was pretty cool seeing all these Final Fantasy characters in this level. but they don't rely on the fact that they're from Final Fantasy games, which is good for the people who haven't played them.
Fun fact about the Final Fantasy characters, in the games that they're originally from, they were never given any actual voices. Kingdom Hearts is the first game to ever give them a voice.
There are good and bad things about the level design. There's nothing in the level design that's particularly interesting. But on the plus side, it does kind of remind me of Main Street at Disneyland.
But tune in next time as we get into what I personally love about this series, the Disney World.